You might be just winding down this afternoon in your usual quiet corner, perhaps with a warm cup in your hands or simply resting your eyes for a minute after your meal, when that gentle, familiar prickling begins once more in your toes, like tiny sparks dancing under the skin that refuse to settle. You point your feet forward or rub them together softly, hoping the feeling will fade quickly, but it often stays right there, sometimes slowly warming into that steady, nagging burn that makes it difficult to stay relaxed no matter how you adjust your legs or shift in your seat. It's one of those sensations that seems to drop by more frequently these days, and it's perfectly reasonable to believe it's simply the natural result of years passing or a permanent mark left by diabetes or some earlier nerve issue the doctors described as irreversible. But what if a considerable part of why it keeps returning with greater force isn't something set in stone forever? What if so much of that everyday unease is being quietly fed and strengthened by the routine little choices and actions you take from the moment you open your eyes until you close them at night? Things so familiar and automatic they blend completely into the background of your daily life? For more than 20 years, I've dedicated my work to understanding nerve health and sitting with older adults who face neuropathy in their everyday lives. I've listened to so many people open up about the same heavy truths, how the burning across the soles of their feet turns even simple standing tasks like preparing a sandwich or walking to the front door into something exhausting and draining, how numb fingers transform ordinary activities such as turning a doorknob or holding a grandchild's hand into careful, frustrating moments that require extra patience, how those sudden, sharp jolts in the legs or feet can jolt you awake in the small hours of the night or bring a short stroll around the garden to a painful stop. It's deeply tiring to live with discomfort that refuses to ease, especially after you've already followed so many recommendations from doctors and specialists. Yet through all those honest conversations and all the thorough research, one vital truth has become very clear to me, and it's supported by solid studies from respected places like Harvard Medical School, the Mayo Clinic, and Johns Hopkins. Most of what people are usually told about neuropathy leaves out a crucial part of the picture. Your nerves aren't rigid or completely powerless against age or illness. They're living, responsive tissues that react strongly to their surroundings. The small habits you repeat every day, the ones that feel entirely ordinary, can either gently nurture your nerves and help keep them as calm and comfortable as possible, or, without any intention on your part, slowly add layers of stress that accumulate and make symptoms feel more intense over months and years. Let's talk this through together today in a calm, unhurried manner, like friends sharing thoughts with plenty of time. In the moments we have, I'll guide you through 7 common habits that could very well be contributing to your neuropathy discomfort right at this moment. More importantly, I'll share the straightforward, realistic adjustments you can begin trying that help soothe the irritation, improve blood flow to those nerves, and reduce the pain so your days feel a little gentler and your nights more peaceful. Everything I'm about to explain draws from genuine studies conducted at some of the finest medical centers, so you can feel confident these suggestions have been carefully considered and have supported many others in similar situations. If you don't mind, before we continue, would you type just your age in the comments? It helps me picture the people I'm speaking with and ensures what I share feels right for your current stage of life. By the time we finish, you'll have a much clearer view of why 2 people can have the identical neuropathy diagnosis, yet experience it so differently. One seeing things steadily worsen, while the other gradually gains more steadiness and comfort. You'll understand precisely how you can place yourself in that second group, the one that notices meaningful positive shifts rather than simply anticipating further decline. Too many individuals come to believe that neuropathy is unavoidable once it begins, that it's fated to progress with age no matter what efforts are made. But the crucial point that rarely gets mentioned is this: your nerves are constantly attuned to their environment. The patterns you follow day after day, often without conscious thought, can either serve as reliable support for nerve well-being or subtly undermine it in ways that build quietly but powerfully over time. I truly hope you'll stay with me, because toward the end, I'll describe one habit that's remarkably widespread among folks over 60. Something done so routinely that hardly anyone connects it to their nerve discomfort until the link becomes clear. When we're finished, you'll walk away with a simple, complete approach to begin caring for your nerves in meaningful ways, starting as early as today. Let's gently explore what's truly occurring inside your body as the years accumulate, details that don't always come across in straightforward language. Reaching your 60s and 70s brings four significant shifts that directly influence neuropathy. Imagine your nerves as fine, sensitive electrical wires running throughout your body, transmitting messages that allow you to sense touch, move your limbs, and maintain balance. For those messages to travel steadily and clearly, the wires require a consistent delivery of oxygen and nutrients straight to them. Your blood vessels serve as the delivery routes. However, with advancing age, arteries frequently lose some elasticity. They don't dilate and stretch as readily, so blood circulation naturally slows a bit. As a result, nerves receive slightly less of the vital nourishment and oxygen they depend on to function well, and over time, this shortfall contributes to increased discomfort. Many people notice their feet feel colder or heavier after sitting for a while, or that tingling starts sooner in the evening than it used to. This gradual change means the nerves aren't getting full support, so symptoms like burning or numbness grow more noticeable in simple daily activities, such as standing to prepare a meal or walking to another room. A major long-term study from Johns Hopkins followed more than 1,200 adults for 5 years and uncovered a compelling finding. Individuals whose blood flow in the lower leg arteries was slower faced a 52% greater likelihood of experiencing worsening foot numbness and burning sensations. That percentage powerfully illustrates just how tightly linked nerve symptoms are to effective circulation, and it underscores why even modest efforts to maintain blood movement can lead to noticeable differences in daily comfort. Think about how often you sit for an hour or more without moving, watching a show, reading, or chatting on the phone, and how the discomfort builds quietly during those times. Improving circulation through small breaks can make those moments much easier. You may already make it a priority to walk daily, and that's excellent. It benefits your heart, your mood, your strength, and so much more. But for many of us, the greater difficulty lies in the prolonged periods of sitting that occupy much of the remaining hours. Whether you're settled in to watch television programs, driving to medical appointments or family visits, sitting with a book or magazine, or engaging in a quiet hobby like puzzles or knitting, those extended stretches without movement can compress nerves and hinder circulation without you being aware. The nerves remain fixed in one posture, gently pressed upon, and they miss the refreshing influx of oxygenated blood. A practical countermeasure is to rise and stand every 30 to 45 minutes. In that moment, slowly circle your ankles several times in each direction, gently contract and release your calf muscles in a pumping motion, or take a brief 2-minute stroll around your living space. These short intervals reopen blood pathways, relieve compression, and allow nerves a momentary respite from ongoing stress. Many people describe that pins and needles rush when they finally stand after sitting too long. It shows how much the nerves were waiting for movement. If you've ever felt that type "wake up" in the comments, I suspect many of you know precisely that sensation, and it highlights why these brief interruptions are so valuable. Doing this regularly can reduce the heavy, tired feeling in your legs and make evenings more pleasant. Now let's touch on something that surprises nearly everyone, including those without diabetes. It's not solely persistent high blood sugar that injures nerves over the long term. The repeated sharp spikes and subsequent crashes inflict comparable harm. Consider eating a substantial carbohydrate-heavy or sugary item, a large portion of rice, a donut, or even a piece of fruit eaten alone. Glucose levels rise rapidly. This swift elevation triggers swelling in tissues surrounding nerves and generates oxidative stress, essentially small internal irritations at the cellular level that accumulate quietly. Later, when glucose plummets, nerves abruptly face an energy deficit, which amplifies pain signals and makes burning or tingling feel more intense. When this pattern recurs meal after meal, day after day, it progressively fatigues the nerves and gradually heightens neuropathy symptoms. More intense burning that lingers longer after eating, more frequent tingling during quiet moments, more pronounced sharpness that interrupts simple activities. Many notice this most after lunch or dinner, when the discomfort peaks and carries into the evening. Harvard Medical School investigators examined this phenomenon and discovered that older adults who concentrated on stabilizing blood sugar saw nerve irritation and burning sensations decrease by 35% within just 8 weeks. That's a substantial, worthwhile shift achieved primarily through modifications in food pairing and meal size. To implement it, Develop the practice of always combining carbohydrates with protein or healthy fat. For instance, spread peanut butter on apple slices, add eggs to your morning toast, or incorporate chicken or beans into rice dishes. Opt for smaller, more frequent meals spread throughout the day rather than one or two large ones that cause major glucose surges. It's also helpful to steer clear of consuming large amounts of refined carbohydrates in isolation, such as white bread without substantial toppings, sugary beverages, or sweets alone. When glucose remains more stable, nerves avoid those episodes of swelling and energy deprivation, resulting in quieter burning, reduced tingling, and greater overall ease whether you're active or resting. People often say they feel steadier energy all day and less post-meal heaviness in their feet. Even the simple choice of what you wear on your feet indoors can exert a surprisingly strong influence. A great many people prefer going barefoot or wearing soft, flexible house slippers because it feels liberating after being in laced shoes outside. Yet when nerves are already sensitive, this minimal support can quietly exacerbate issues. Without a sturdy foundation, each step compresses foot and ankle nerves unevenly, shock from hard surfaces isn't cushioned adequately, and pressure concentrates on vulnerable areas. The surrounding connective tissues become repeatedly strained, which commonly intensifies burning sensations, deepens numbness, and heightens nighttime discomfort when rest should predominate. Many describe how their feet feel sore by evening just from walking around the house, or how the burning wakes them at night after a day of bare feet or thin slippers. The Mayo Clinic conducted a 2022 study demonstrating that seniors who transitioned to supportive shoes or structured slippers for indoor use, even limited to home activities, experienced 43% less foot pain after only 6 weeks. That's an impressive outcome from a single consistent adjustment. When selecting indoor footwear, seek pairs featuring firm soles for proper arch support, cushioned insoles to buffer impacts, and generously wide toe boxes to prevent crowding or pinching. You needn't wear bulky outdoor shoes indoors. Reliable structured slippers or lightweight supportive options for home can safeguard nerves and deliver relief felt in nearly every step across your floors. People often notice right away that steps feel lighter and less tiring, especially in the kitchen or hallway. Hydration represents another straightforward yet frequently overlooked element. With age, the thirst mechanism becomes less pronounced, allowing mild dehydration to develop unnoticed in many individuals. Nevertheless, even subtle ongoing fluid shortage impacts nerves profoundly because water facilitates smooth electrical signal conduction, nutrient transport to cells, and removal of metabolic waste that can otherwise irritate surrounding tissues. When hydration falls short, nerve impulses grow irregular or erratic, manifesting as increased tingling that comes and goes, more pronounced or persistent burning especially in the evening, sudden muscle cramps in the calves during quiet times, or that restless, fidgety sensation in the legs that interferes with relaxation or sleep. Many people say they feel more jumpy in their legs at night or notice cramps waking them. Medications for pain can serve as a genuine aid during flare-ups. They blunt the intensity sufficiently to allow daily functioning, whether preparing meals, conversing with family, or resting. However, relying solely on them sometimes overlooks opportunities for more enduring improvement. Certain medications subtly diminish nerve blood supply over extended periods, while others primarily interrupt pain signals without resolving underlying irritation. The preferable strategy views medication as one component within a comprehensive plan. The more durable foundation arises from habits enhancing circulation, delivering consistent nutrition, sustaining hydration, and fostering a calmer nerve environment. When these elements are solidly in place, medications frequently perform more effectively, and numerous individuals discover reduced dependence on them as nerves become less provoked. Many report that with better habits, they need pills less often or at lower doses. Sleep constitutes the body's primary repair period, including for nerves, yet common sleeping postures can inadvertently sustain compression for hours. Tight fetal positions with curled legs, heavy blankets forcing feet into plantar flexion, or sharply bent joints that pinch tissues often result in amplified morning numbness, heightened burning upon waking, and lingering stiffness that complicates initial movements. Modest modifications can yield considerable benefit. Position a pillow beneath knees when supine or between them when side-lying to maintain gentle alignment. Ensure feet remain in neutral posture without forced pointing or dorsiflexion. opt for lighter bedding layers to eliminate excessive downward pressure. Such adjustments permit fuller overnight nerve recovery, frequently leading to mornings characterized by reduced discomfort, greater looseness, and improved readiness for the day. People often wake feeling their feet are lighter and less tingly. Chronic stress functions as another subtle but potent amplifier of nerve challenges. Prolonged tension elevates cortisol levels, prompting mild vessel constriction and diminished peripheral circulation, while simultaneously sensitizing the nervous system so that ordinarily tolerable nerve signals register as sharper or more distressing pain. The reassuring aspect lies in gentle, accessible calming techniques that can meaningfully alter this dynamic. Upon noticing tension accumulation, pause for several slow, deliberate breaths. Inhale through the nose for a count of 4, pause briefly, exhale through the mouth for a longer count. Perform light seated stretches, such as shoulder rolls or overhead reaches. Dedicate a minute to mindful observation of immediate surroundings, the chair's texture beneath you, window light patterns, or a pleasant recollection. Alternatively, quietly reflect on gratitudes for the day. These practices convey safety to the nervous system, reduce cortisol, restore extremity circulation, and diminish perceived pain intensity. Individuals incorporating regular relaxation frequently report substantially fewer abrupt pain exacerbations and decreased severity when they occur. Many say evenings feel calmer and sleep comes easier. Putting it all together, you can see that neuropathy rarely gets worse from just one thing going wrong. It's the gradual accumulation of multiple routine patterns, extended sitting intervals, fluctuating blood glucose, inadequate indoor foot support, inconsistent hydration, exclusive medication dependence, compressive sleep postures, and persistent stress that determines whether nerves deteriorate or stabilize. The uplifting counterpart is that intentionally modifying even portions of these patterns in nerve-supportive directions, when maintained consistently, supplies the steady, compassionate care required for nerves to become more resilient and less symptomatic. Consider Margaret, 68 years old when we first met. She endured years of persistent foot burning that transformed routine standing into torment, numb toes causing unsteadiness during walks, and nightly pain disrupting sleep so profoundly that fatigue dominated her days. During our initial consultation, she appeared drained, hands tightly clasped, voice soft but edged with exasperation. I've followed every recommendation, multiple medications, strict diet adjustments, various creams and soaks, yet the burning returns relentlessly. It feels as though my own nerves have turned against me, and the constant battle has left me utterly weary. Together we examined her typical day, meal timing and composition, sitting duration during television viewing, indoor footwear choices, fluid intake patterns, sleep positioning, stress responses. We then introduced the Nervo protocol gradually, ensuring each element felt achievable. Emphasis was placed on regular movement breaks to sustain circulation, consistent water sipping throughout waking hours, meal balancing to prevent glucose surges, structured supportive slippers for home use, pillow-assisted sleep alignment, and brief breathing exercises during tense moments. She started small, first with water sips every hour and supportive slippers around the house, then adding balanced meals and pillow adjustments at night. 4 weeks afterward, upon her return, improvement was evident before words were spoken. Her posture appeared more relaxed, steps lighter. She reported burning reduced approximately 60%. It persisted, but felt markedly diminished, akin to a low simmer rather than intense flame. Nights became restorative with uninterrupted sleep, and morning stiffness that previously hindered mobility had largely vanished. Most profoundly affecting was her transformed perspective. With a genuine smile, she shared, "For the first time in so long, I sense hope. Bedtime no longer fills me with dread. Instead, I anticipate rest. Mornings bring willingness to rise, prepare breakfast, perhaps telephone my granddaughter. I no longer feel quite so isolated in this struggle." That transition from despair and bodily betrayal to renewed hope, capability, and engagement recurs frequently when individuals provide nerves consistent, thoughtful support. Robert's experience echoed similar themes. At 72, this retired gentleman cherished activity, yard work, neighborhood walks, family outings, but neuropathy introduced persistent hand-tingling, complicating grip tasks and acute electric-like foot shocks rendering each step painful. Despite regular pain medication, relief remained partial. In consultation, he spoke softly, gaze downward. "I fear comfortable walking may become impossible. Every movement brings discomfort. I worry I'll lose independence entirely and spend days confined to a chair." We implemented Nervo with particular attention to frequent short movement interruptions, diligent hydration maintenance, appropriate indoor footwear, sleep posture modifications using pillows, and calming breathing during worry episodes. He began with movement breaks every hour and hydration tracking, then added footwear changes and breathing when he felt anxious about his symptoms. 6 weeks later, his pain rating fell from 7 to 3 on a 10-point scale. Walking distances increased without sharp exacerbations, balance improved noticeably, and daily independence returned. He resumed short family strolls, commenting later that reclaiming those simple pleasures felt like recovering lost portions of life itself. These stories show how small, consistent changes compound to bring real relief. Margaret and Robert illustrate the same encouraging reality. Neuropathy need not follow an inexorable worsening trajectory. While age and underlying conditions contribute, daily nerve support through intentional habits powerfully influences whether symptoms remain severe or progressively ease, permitting fuller, more active living. Now let's carefully review the precise protocol I employ with patients, known as Nervo, with each letter denoting a fundamental nerve-supportive element. N represents nutrition and blood sugar stabilization. The core principle involves preventing rapid glucose fluctuations that irritate nerves. Consistently pair carbohydrates with protein or healthy fats to moderate absorption. Consider adding nuts to fresh fruit, cheese to crackers, or eggs to toast. Favor smaller, more frequent meals over large ones, and minimize isolated large servings of refined carbohydrates, such as plain white bread, sugary beverages, or sweets alone. Harvard research demonstrated this strategy reduced nerve irritation and burning by 35% in 8 weeks among older adults. Begin by modifying one meal, perhaps breakfast, adding the pairing, then extend the practice gradually. Many notice steadier energy alongside diminished post-meal discomfort. For example, instead of eating toast alone, add eggs or peanut butter. Sugar rises slower, nerves stay calmer, and you avoid that heavy feeling after eating. Keep portions small so sugar doesn't spike fast. E signifies eliminating nerve stressors. This entails recognizing and reducing daily factors that compress or irritate nerves. Discontinue barefoot walking or thin-soled slippers at home, as they permit excessive pressure on sensitive areas. Transition to supportive indoor footwear featuring firm soles for arch maintenance, cushioned insoles for impact absorption, and wide toe boxes to prevent constriction. Mayo Clinic findings indicated 43% pain reduction in 6 weeks from indoor supportive footwear alone. Additionally, monitor prolonged sitting or compressive sleep positions, interrupting them with movement or pillow adjustments. When sitting for TV or reading, set a timer for 30 minutes and stand to walk a few steps. It relieves pressure and keeps blood moving. R denotes restorative sleep positioning. Nighttime offers prime nerve recovery opportunity, so optimize bed setup. Place pillows beneath knees when lying on your back or between them when side lying to preserve gentle alignment. Maintain neutral foot posture, avoid forced plantar flexion or dorsiflexion, and select lighter bedding layers to eliminate heavy pressure on legs and feet. Research showed appropriate positioning decreased morning numbness by 38% in adults over 60. Implement this tonight and observe how feet feel upon rising, often noticeably lighter and less symptomatic. Use a soft pillow between knees if side sleeping. It prevents twisting and lets nerves rest fully. V stands for vascular health and hydration. Promote circulation by standing and moving gently every 30 to 45 minutes. Perform slow ankle circles, calf pumps through toe rises, or brief room walks. For hydration, sip water consistently aiming for pale yellow urine color. Consult your doctor regarding electrolyte supplementation if appropriate. Steady flow and fluids maintain clear nerve signaling and facilitate waste clearance. Keep a water bottle on your table and sip after every show segment or every page of reading. It becomes automatic and reduces evening tingling. O represents overall stress management and nervous system calm. Persistent stress elevates pain perception and restricts peripheral circulation. Incorporate daily gentle practices, deep breathing with prolonged exhalations, light-seated stretches targeting neck and shoulders, brief mindfulness focusing on breath or surroundings, or quiet positive reflection. Patients consistently applying these reported 30 to 50% reduction in pain, flare frequency. Select one approachable method, perhaps morning breathing, and practice briefly daily, expanding as comfort grows. Sit quietly for 2 minutes breathing slowly. It lowers tension and makes the whole day feel calmer. When consistently integrated, even commencing with one or two elements and progressively incorporating others, Nervo delivers comprehensive nerve support. Benefits typically compound as components reinforce mutually. Individuals following Nervo commonly observe phased improvements. During week 1, tingling subtly diminishes, hydration improves noticeably, morning stiffness lightens. Week 2 frequently brings calmer burning sensations, more restful uninterrupted sleep, steadier daily energy. By weeks 3 and 4, pain reduction often ranges 30 to 60%. Extremities feel warmer with enhanced circulation, movement becomes smoother and less guarded. Beyond 1 month, nerves remain calmer over longer intervals, medication requirements sometimes decrease, balance strengthens, and overall life quality improves through increased comfort, confidence, and enjoyment.